Hi guys, welcome back. Queen Osset here. Today I want to introduce you to two new decks that have hit my shelves. One of them actually, I will put a link to a young woman on the other side of the world. She did a walkthrough of this deck simply because it's put out by Rockpool Publishing. So where she is, she actually has faster access to the deck, but it is called, The Prophet Oracle Deck by Kahlil Gibran. This was a book. It's a small book of musings and writings of Kahlil. Mr. Gibran was born in Lebanon, and he and his family migrated to the States 1845, I say. Nope, much later than that. He was born in 1883. Now, it says here on the back of the box, you are far, far greater than you know. And this is a saying that I've heard many of us speak. It says here, the greatest of wisdom is not torn down by hardship, cast aside by time, nor looked over by progress. Rather, its value and acuity are made clearer by the changes and challenges that inevitably come to our world. First published in 1923, The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran has been read by millions in over 100 languages. Its truth is a lovingly welcome home without boundary, pretense, or condition. With thanks to the Gibran National Committee for the Gibran Museum, Toni Carmine Salerno is honored to present 42 of Gibran's transcendent paintings together with his best-selling work to inspire love, balance, and creativity. This 42 full-color card and guidebook set includes specially selected artwork reproductions, the complete text of the Prophet, and an introduction and how-to section, making this a uniquely beautiful treasure for divination, direction, contemplation, and insight. So, I'm not going to waste my time. It's typical Llewellyn. One of the things that I have noticed, if we want to talk about boxes, okay, Llewellyn's boxes have gotten a little bit thinner. So the boxes and the cards, rather the book and the cards, shift around a lot less. There's less noise. What interested me, of course, was knowing that the work of Kahlil was in this little book, very powerful. I don't know if you've ever read any of his tomes, but it supposedly takes place in a fictitious area, and the protagonist is Mustafa, and he is getting ready to leave an area called Ophelsius. Let me see. I should have prepared this. Orphalese is where he's leaving. Okay, and as Mustafa is leaving, he's waiting for his ship to arrive. People are gathering and they're asking him not to leave, and before you leave, can you give us any words of advice? And they just start shouting out different areas in their life that they would like words of inspiration, prophecy, and upliftment to be bestowed on them. Everything from friendship and clothing and law and marriages and beauty and religion. And he has so much words of wisdom to speak that he makes a serious impact. And so in this oracle deck, what Toni Carmine Salerno has done is taken some of the words and put them to the pictures that were painted, the beautiful paintings. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I didn't want to focus on this. I'm going to attach down below a better walkthrough because there's another deck that I wanted to focus on. But in the meantime, the back of the cards look like that. And we'll take a look at some of the cards, some of Kahlil's paintings. When love beckons to you, follow. Love is sufficient unto love. Now, some of the cards are in portrait, of course, like I just showed you, and some of them are laid out landscape. Make not a bond of love. This is about marriage. Sing and dance together, be joyous. On children, he says, life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. Giving. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. All you have shall someday be given. And this is again on giving. So the Oracle deck is broken down into different segments, I guess you could say, different portions. I'm looking here. Card messages. No, I saw this earlier. Right. For different areas in your life. There are 42 cards, each with a message, and you have instructions, of course, like a typical Oracle deck, how to use it. It says some of the phrases featured on the cards have been tweaked very slightly for clarity and concision. Any pronouns or other gendered words remain true to the original text, both in the cards and throughout the guidebook. We're correcting the language to gender-neutral terms, made the prose awkward or distanced the text from the larger story of Mustafa. When you are working with the cards, please be mindful that they are not intended to be exclusive. We're all one, all unique, all here in love and learning. And the card messages have equal relevance to all, just as we are all equal. Interesting. There's something about this deck that sits with me in a place of deep contemplation. I've been pulling a card here and there for the past few weeks, and it's quite powerful. I find myself actually going back and reading the prophet. As I said, the whole tome is here. Just like that. It's right here in the guidebook. This is a photograph of Kahlil. So one of the things that caught my eye was the segment on, let's see, friendship. And a youth said, speak to us of friendship. So a youth asked Mustafa to speak of friendship. And he answered saying, your friend is your needs answered. He is your field, which you sow with love and reap with thanksgiving. He is your board and your fireside, for you come to him with your hunger, and you seek him for peace. When your friend speaks his mind, you fear not the nay in your own mind, nor do you withhold the I. And when he is silent, your heart ceases not to listen to his heart. For without words, in friendship, all thoughts, all desires, all expectations are born and shared with joy that is unclaimed. When you part from your friend, you grieve not, for that which you love most in him may be clearer in his absence, as the mountain to the climber is clearer from the plain. And let there be no purpose in friendship save the deepening of the spirit. For love that seeks aught but the disclosure of its own mystery is not love, but a net cast forth, and only the unprofitable is caught. And let your best be for your friend. If he must know the ebb of your tide, let him know its flood also. For what is your friend that you should seek him within hours to kill? Seek him always with hours to live, for it is his fill your need, for it is his to fill your need, not your emptiness, for it is his to fill your need, not your emptiness. And in the sweetness of friendship, let there be laughter and a sharing of pleasures, for in the dew of little things the heart finds its morning and is refreshed. And that I've been pondering on because I take my friendships very seriously. I have many acquaintances and a handful of friends. My friends are people that I consider and I have in my life without any expectation. It's never a 50-50. It's not that sort of relationship, and it should not be. It's just my engagement with another human being who I enjoy spending my God-given days with, my God-given time with. And sometimes we're not always going to agree. We're not always going to see eye to eye. But I was looking over this patchwork quilt that I call my landscape of friends. And we're from one spectrum, one end of the rainbow to the other. Different faiths and practices and diets and beliefs and skin tones and languages and voices, and it's just a beautiful mixture. The one thing that we have in common is a desire to be at peace and in love with life and sharing that. So, I've given you enough of a lecture. I wanted to introduce to you not just the work of Kahlil Gibran, because as I said, I think it's Musings by Mascha. She did a better walkthrough of this deck. I'm not going to rehash what she did. Maybe I'll come back to it a little bit later. But I have a new deck, and it's called Wisdom of the Buddha. I have many practitioners of Buddha in my life. I hesitate to call them Buddhists for my own personal reasons, but I will say many practitioners of Buddhism. This is a path that they decided to take on to improve and better their life. My hair is even. I need a haircut. Anyway, see, I'm vain. In the midst of spirituality, I can be vain. I know the gods always laugh at me. Sense of humor, y'all. Sense of humor. Anyway, this deck, let's see here. 40 cards, 120-page guidebook, was put out by Beyond Worlds. Different sort. It's the blue and yellow that caught my attention. I'm sure someone else will get this deck and they'll talk about all the insides and everything like that. Okay. What caught my attention again is the guidebook. And I know a lot of people throw away guidebooks, but I will read them because I use them for bibliomancy. So I'm going to give you a look at the deck. Glossy cardstock, so I apologize for any glare that may be there. Oh, that's not too bad. But you have the image on the front and words on the back. So this is a deck that you use for meditation, contemplation, mindfulness. You know, you'll pull a card, I guess, or 2 cards. I mean, I want to say, there's a spread in here. The rainbow bot, there's a couple of spreads in here. Unity draw, the duality draw, 3 jewels draw, rainbow body draw. And this deck goes into the different levels of Buddhism. It gives you directions on how to use it. Of course, much of the language is in Sanskrit. Well, enough of it that if you're not familiar with that Sanskrit, you know, things will get twisted. But it speaks on the spectrum of color, art, and symbolism in this. The numbers, the 3 realms of existence, the 3 jewels, the 3 refugees. So it talks about the number 3 is one of the most powerful, signifying the 3 jewels or the 3 refugees, which are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The 3 realms of existence, the Triloka, the desired realm, and the form realm, and the formless realm, and the 3 characteristics of existence: suffering, impermanence, and the non-self. And then it says the most significant numbers in this deck are 1, Buddha nature; 2, duality; 3, the 3 jewels; 4, the 4 noble truths; 5, the 5 perfections; the 5 elements and the 5 colors; and 8, the eightfold path and the 8 auspicious symbols. And then, of course, we have symbols in here, and it talks about the Buddha, and clouds, and fire and smoke, and the jewelry, and the leaves and the trees, the lotus throne, the mudras, the pearl, water, and waterfalls. There's just so much packed into this deck. I have not sat with it for too long. Again, as I said, I used it for bibliomancy. You know, you can see I highlighted a page. Something caught my eye, and I just wanted to share this with you. I don't know why I'm posting this. I think I've been in that place of mindfulness, and I'm asking many of us to get to that place of being mindful. Being mindful of what we say to one another, how we treat each other, and be mindful of our speech and the words that we choose to use. It's not about people being sensitive, and it's not about people not wanting to fit in. It is our job as human beings, especially those of us who are on a spiritual path, to make room so that everyone can fit. No one has to prove themselves. No one has to explain themselves. I, as a human being, welcome you to my table. No questions asked. No explanation needed. So, let's take a quick look at this deck. I'm just going to look at the imagery here. So, we have here, ever faithful. Faith is the best companions. Mighty compassion, 3 roses, it looks like. In compassion lies the world's true strength. And this is said by the Buddha. This is a series of shells. The voice of Dharma. Quiet the mind and the soul will speak. The Buddha. A peaceful mind. And we have here, that's a familiar symbol. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Healing and longevity. One should strive to understand what underlies suffering and diseases. Loving kindness aloft. May all beings have happy minds. Awaken from suffering. Attachment is inexhaustible. I vow to release it. And this is Kuan Yin. So in the book, I came across two stories. If you are watching this after my story time, then to me this is similar to a pataki. So card number 29, and the cards are numbered on the back so that you can get to them in the book. Let me see here. And this is called The Student and the Buddha. The tongue, like a sharp knife, kills without drawing blood. And the advice is, avoid gossip and abstain from it. What is heard here, do not repeat there, causing dissension. What is heard there, do not repeat here, causing dissension. Unite those who are divided, and those that are united, encourage. Harmony gladdens, delight and rejoice in harmony. It is harmony that is spread by your words. Avoid harsh language and abstain from it. Speak words that are gentle, soothing to the ear, loving and heartfelt, courteous and dear, and agreeable to many. And this is from Buddha, the Word, The Eightfold Path by Paul Carus. And it says, the Dharma Chakra, Mudra, the wheel of Dharma gesture, held in front of the heart, is a reminder of the Eightfold Path. Right speech is one of the 8 practices. Avoid using speech as a weapon. Only speak that which is true and beneficial. And the other one that caught my eye that I want to share with you, maybe I'll come back and do all of this a little bit later, but I just wanted to do this. Yeah. Loving kindness aloft. May all beings have happy minds. The Buddha said, if a man foolishly does me wrong, I will return to him the protection of my ungrudging love. The more evil comes from him, the more good shall go from me. The fragrance of goodness always comes to me, and the harmful air of evil goes to him. Buddha continued, a wicked man who reproaches a virtuous one is like one who looks up and spits at the heavens. The spit soils not the heaven, but comes back and defiles himself. An evildoer is like one who flings dust at another when the wind is contrary. The dust returns to him who threw it. The virtuous man cannot be hurt, and the misery that the other intends to inflict comes back on himself. This is from the Buddha, the Gospel by Paul Carus. Like the ocean tide, which moves in motion with the moon, every action has a consequential reaction. If you choose to maintain a positive mind and treat others with unrelenting positivity, devoid of intention or expected result, such positivity will encompass your life. So I just want to share those two with you, these two decks with you. I don't know, I'm feeling a shift, a change, a move in my direction of what I'm seeking, what I'm looking for. You know, something that's nourishing, a little bit more toothy, a little bit more fulfilling than the normal status quo. So if you've come across a deck lately that is inspiring and uplifting, that's a little bit different, or actually a lot different than the norm, share that with me. I'm curious to know. Until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.